Well, a lot of you, I hope, probably recently watched our E34 M5 touring film on YouTube, which gave you a bit of insight into my memories of driving them when they were really not very old, actually, mid-90s, and the excitement that a young Barney had when he was in his early 20s of those 340 horsepower straight six 24-valve twin cam super saloons. So I hope some of you have watched that and I've given you an insight into the driving experience of an E34 M5. But obviously what's quite interesting today is we've got both incarnations, both 3.8 litre, one saloon, super saloon, one touring, arguably the ultimate super touring of its generation. The inspiration actually from this little YouTube video for you was actually how often do you see two Avis Blue 3.8 M5s, one saloon, one touring, alongside each other in the same garage. So I don't think anybody would actually argue that the 3.8 M5 was not the ultimate super saloon of that decade. Actually, as was the earlier variant, which was a 3.6 litre E34 M5. But these are 3.8 litre M5s. I actually remember driving these when they were reasonably new cars, and I can remember taking passengers out in them, and they were blown away by firstly the incredible level of refinement and luxury that you got from an E34, but then also blown away by the incredible performance of this 3.8 litre 24-valve twin cam straight six. Stunning performance. You've got to remember this is early 90s, 340 horsepower. And what you've got here is actually chassis number one. Now that's number one of the 3.8 litre right-hand drive cars. So it's quite a historic car, rather special. It's actually only done 6,000 miles from new, but I'll talk about that more later. These early 3.8 M5s were 5-speed gearbox. You'll notice standard E34 saloon mirrors and 17-inch wheels. But it actually didn't just end there for the 3.8 M5. So we already had the ultimate super saloon, the 3.8 M5. So imagine our excitement when BMW announced the M5 Touring. That had to be the ultimate, well, it was the ultimate estate car, a 340 horsepower Touring, the ultimate skiing wagon, I suppose. This is actually a very, very late evolution of the 3.8 M5, which you saw in both saloon and touring. This is a 6-speed car, those lovely motorsport mirrors that are now so well known. The 6-speed cars saw 18-inch wheels with larger front brakes. The touring gave really clever interior design that hadn't been seen before. Individually folding rear seats with through loading for skis, the ski bag, rear dog guard integral, load liner, load cover, and a very expensive option, these highly expensive double electric sunroofs, which worked in all different combinations of tilt, slide, front open and back open. Imagine going skiing in that in 1995. It would have been the ultimate ski carrier. The 6-speed cars saw subtle little uplifts to the interior, the cosmetic detailing of the interior, and an absolutely brilliant option on all 3.8 M5s, both saloon and touring, was the now very, very famous Nürburgring switchable suspension, giving you the option to switch between comfort and sports. Now you think how modern that was for the mid-90s. So the reason both these 3.8 M5s, both the saloon and the touring, are here with the Hero Motor Company is to spend time in our workshops, and we've drawn up a very detailed programme of work which is actually quite different for both cars, and I'll explain why. Although usually at Classic Heroes we attract very similar types of customer, and that's a customer that actually does still enjoy driving. They're not just after a museum piece or a show car, but they actually enjoy driving. That's slightly different for chassis number one here, because that car has done 6,000 miles from new and the body shell is as new, unwelded, which I think a lot of you E34 owners will know is a very rare thing. But of course, yes, only 6,000 miles, but the job of the workshop was to eliminate all of the age-related potential failures that a car of this age can suffer from. So under the engine bay, there was obviously a major service done, all new coolant hoses because all the rubber is old and perished, all new fuel hoses, new water pump, new thermostat, new belts, age-related stuff of making sure this car doesn't suffer from those irritating classic car breakdowns. Hydraulic cylinders replaced, masters and slave cylinders, discs and pads all round, calipers rebuilt. EDC shock absorbers on this one, the EDC being electronic damping control. This car does not have the Nürburgring suspension, which I'll talk about on that one in a moment, but it does have self-leveling. Obviously, the hydraulics of that self-leveling checked very thoroughly to ensure there's no leaks. The suspension, every single ball joint and bush replaced where that rubber is now 25 years old. All the ball joint gaiters, made sure there's no perish rubber there. All of those done. Obviously new tyres, rear brakes rebuilt, all new rear fuel hoses. Basically gone through with a fine tooth comb, ensuring that there's no nasty surprises that often afflict the classic car owner because of poor age-related maintenance. This one, the Touring, is slightly different. It's high mileage, and this car is being used. This car is doing family holidays all over Europe and is Switzerland, France, been down to Italy. It's a used modern classic. So the same applies, eliminating all of those age-related irritating breakdowns, coolant hoses, fuel hoses, hydraulics, brake calipers rebuilt, belts properly serviced. But there was a difference with this one. Due to the slight, well, north of 100,000 miles, it was necessary to take the 3.8 out of this car due to oil leaks. And that was an opportunity also to eliminate some potential mechanical failures internally to the engine in the future. So obviously engine stripped, every single oil seal, O-ring and a gasket replaced, including head gasket, cylinder head off, all the valves out the head, new valve stem oil seals, valve seats, not recut, they're fine, but relapped. But obviously the perfect opportunity for a set of big end shells and conrod bolts and timing chain, oil pump chain, all the tensioners and the guide rails, and then back in. Also, rear gearbox oil seals replaced as well, clutch done at the same time. It would be mad not to. That is the last time that engine will be taken apart in the lifetime of this car, without a doubt. It's never going to do another 100,000 miles. But that engine is now completely future-proofed and ready for the next 100,000 miles and lots more family holidays. So although different cars, rather more a show car, and a lot of you will see this car over the next few years being exhibited in many different events, although different usage, very similar mechanical work. We wish them the best of luck.